Alright, so you're scrolling through dating advice and every video is telling you about red flags to avoid. She has male friends, red flag. She posts selfies, red flag. She has an opinion, massive red flag. And now you've got this mental checklist of like 47 things that instantly disqualify someone, which would be fine, except now you can't find anyone who passes the test. Here's the problem. You're not looking for a partner. You're looking for a unicorn. Today, we're talking about why your approach to red flags is probably backwards and why that's keeping you stuck. Stick around and hit subscribe because this is going to challenge some stuff you think you know. Here's what most guys do with red flags. They create this massive list of deal breakers, and then they go out looking for someone who has 0 items from the list. No male friends, doesn't use social media, dresses conservatively, has never had a serious relationship before, or has only had serious relationships, depending on which manosphere video they watched last. And here's the funny part. Even if you somehow found this perfect person, she probably wouldn't be into you. Because people who have their shit together usually aren't interested in someone who's treating dating like a quality control inspection. So what's the actual approach? It's not about finding someone perfect. It's about understanding which red flags actually matter and which ones are just you being controlling without realizing it. Let me give you the actual red flags. Number 1, she's constantly seeking validation from other people, not she posts on Instagram. I mean, she literally needs external validation to feel okay about herself. Every conversation becomes about fishing for compliments. This is about an emotional need that you can't fill no matter how much attention you give. Number 2, she's still emotionally attached to an ex. Not she mentions her ex exists. I mean, she brings him up constantly, compares you to him, talks about maybe getting back together. If someone's not over their past, they're not ready for a future with you. Number 3, she creates drama out of nothing. Not she has emotions. I mean, she consistently turns normal situations into chaos. Everything becomes a test. Every calm day somehow becomes a crisis. This is exhausting, and it doesn't get better with time. Notice what's not on this list. Has male friends, wears certain clothes, has a past. Those aren't red flags. Those are you trying to control someone. Here's where most guys get it wrong. They think the strategy is find perfect person, then start dating, then live happily ever after. But that's not how this works. The actual strategy is find someone you're attracted to, then start dating. Then see if you're actually compatible over time. And if there's something about them you don't like, you don't run away immediately. You communicate. Example, you don't like that she has a lot of guy friends. Good approach. As you get to know her, you share your perspective. Not as a demand, just as information. I tend to be more private with my relationships. I'm not super comfortable with my partner having a bunch of close guy friends. That's just how I'm wired. Now, she has information, and she gets to decide what she wants to do with it. Maybe she says, yeah, that makes sense, I can respect that. Maybe she says, that's not going to work for me. Either way, you've communicated like adults instead of running away because of some arbitrary rule you got from the internet. And here's the key. You're not demanding she change. You're sharing your preferences. And over time, as people get closer, they naturally influence each other. Now, some of you are thinking, but I should be the leader in the relationship. Okay, but being a leader doesn't mean being a dictator. Real leadership is about having standards for yourself. It's not about molding someone into your perfect fantasy. Here's the mature approach. You know what you want in life. You know your values. You're working on yourself and building something. And you meet someone who has their own values and direction. And you see if those things align. Not, can I change her to fit my requirements? But, are we naturally compatible? Because even if you successfully change someone, you'll always wonder if that's really who they are or if they're just performing for you. And that's not a foundation for anything real. Look for someone who has their own life and interests, can handle their emotions without making them your problem, communicates directly instead of playing games, is genuinely interested in you as a person, shows up consistently instead of being hot and cold. And here's the thing, these qualities show up over time. You can't assess them in the first conversation or the first date, which is why this whole red flag checklist approach doesn't work. You're trying to make a long-term decision based on surface-level information. Look, here's the bottom line. If you're using red flags as an excuse to immediately disqualify everyone you meet, you're not protecting yourself. You're just avoiding the vulnerability of actually getting to know someone. Real red flags are about patterns of behavior that indicate someone isn't emotionally healthy or ready for a relationship. They're not about controlling what someone wears or who they're friends with. The mature approach is find someone you genuinely like. Communicate your values, see if you're compatible. So here's your homework. Look at your mental list of red flags. How many of them are actual indicators of emotional health? And how many are just you trying to control someone? Be honest. For me, I used to think has been in a lot of relationships was a red flag, until I realized that was just my insecurity talking. People who've dated before have experience. That's not a bad thing. If this challenged your thinking, good. That means you're actually processing it instead of just looking for confirmation of what you already believe. Subscribe for more dating psychology that focuses on actually understanding people instead of treating them like problems to solve. Drop a comment with a red flag you've reconsidered. And remember, the goal isn't to find someone perfect, it's to find someone real who you're actually compatible with. See you next time.